Hey guys, so the last topic we're going to look at this week is measures of center. So when we talk about data, we can describe data by three ways: by its center, its shape, and its spread. So today we're going to concentrate on that center, and there's actually two specific measurements of center that we're going to look at. Three measures of center that we're going to look at. So the first measure, one you may be familiar with, is mean. Mean has a synonym, and that synonym is average. And that's when you take all the data values, add them together, divide by how many there are. That gives you the average of the data. The median is the middle value, like physical middle. So that means if I were to order the data from least to greatest, the number in the middle of that data would be the median. And then mode is the most frequently occurring value. Sometimes data doesn't have a mode if there isn't a more frequent value. And sometimes you could have more than one mode. So we're going to look at these three things today. So Mr. Gray gave a test on a regular school day with no special activities. The scores are listed below. So here's his dot plot. Looking at the dot plot, what do you think the value of the median is? So if I didn't actually calculate it, what would be the value of the median? I would assume that it would be 80 because it looks like the physical middle. So let's verify that. If I were to find the median, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 data points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Between the 7th and the 8th would be 80. The second question, what is the value of the mean? So we want to take our calculator and we want to first add up all of our data values. So we have 60 plus 60 plus 70. Oops. Try that again. So 60 and 60 would be 120 plus I have 3 70s, so that would be 210 plus I have 4 80s would be 320 plus 3 90s would be 270 plus 200. And I want to divide that, I think, by my 14 data points. Oops. Let's try it again. 1120 divided by 14. It's also 80. So the median here is going to be the same as the median. So why is it important for us to know where the center is? Well, it's important because it kind of gives us an overall idea of how most people did. Overall idea of how everyone did. So like for me, when I give a test, I like to look at the average because that kind of tells me about how everybody in the class did. And then we'll talk about what can affect that mean and median next. So if you look at the shape of Mr. Gray's distribution, it kind of starts small and then goes bigger. So it starts small here and it goes up and then it goes down. You may have heard that called a bell curve before. It's also called normal distribution. So the reason why it's normal is because it kind of follows that smaller up and down. So it's also called a bell shape. And you'll notice that most of the data values are kind of clumped in the middle. So that's considered normal distribution. Okay, so then Mr. Gray gave a test after the basketball game against the school's rivals. The scores were as follows. So here's the scores, and then here's the dot plot of those scores. So what are the mean and median of this data? So let's do the median first, just because that's a little bit easier to follow. So the middle number, so 1, 1, 1, 75 would be our median. And then the mean. I'm going to add these on my phone really quickly, so trust me that I'm doing it right. You can do it on your own too. So 65, there's 565 plus 670s plus 475 plus 480s would be 320 plus 85 plus 180 for my 290s plus 95 plus 100. And I don't know how many data points there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I think it was 25. Yeah, 25, sorry. 25, that would give me a mean of 76. So which measure of the center is more appropriate? So if we look, this is not considered normal distribution because you'll notice that most of the data is to the left-hand side of the middle. So I would definitely say because it's not symmetrical, it's not normal, we want to use the median. Anytime that it's not normal, we want to use the median to represent the center. I'm going to say that again. Anytime it's not that bell curve shape or that median, we want to use, or that bell curve or normal, we want to use the median as the center. So other two questions, does this data have a normal distribution? No, because it doesn't follow a bell curve. And this distribution is called something else. It's actually called skewed. And then when we say skewed, because skewed is kind of the opposite of normal, we have to figure out which direction it's skewed. And it's actually skewed to the right. And I'm going to tell you that when you go back and look at the data, it may seem like that's the opposite of what you would think. Most of the data is on the left, but it's called skewed right because all of these values over here are messing the data up. The data on the right-hand side is skewing it. It's messing it up. So that's why we call it skewed right. All right, let's look at another situation. So Mr. Gray then gave a test after a midweek early release day, and the scores were as follows. Which value do you think will be smaller, the mean or the median? Well, the data has now moved to the other direction. So these data over here are going to pull the mean to be smaller. So the mean is actually going to be smaller. Here's the dot plot. So what do we think is going to be more appropriate to describe the center? Remember, it's not normal, it's skewed. And if it is skewed, we want to use the median to represent that middle value because we don't want to take into account those smaller values that don't match the rest of the data. Now, this one's the opposite of the previous problem. Most of the data is on the right-hand side. So we're going to say it is skewed left because those values on the left are altering our overall look of the data. For normal shaped data, the best measure of center is going to be the mean. For skewed data, we always want to use the median. So I'm going to say that again because it's very important. For normal, that bell curve shape, we want to use the mean. If it's skewed left or right, we want to use the median. All right, let's look at one last question. I will tell you for this question that I kind of pre-calculated some of the values so that you waste a little bit less time in the video. So Mr. Logan surveyed his junior and senior students about the time they spent studying math in one day. He then tabulated the results and created a dot plot displaying data for both groups. So on the left, you'll see it follows a little bit more of like a normal distribution. And then this one over here is skewed to the left. So just keep that in mind when we find our values. So we're going to find the mean and the median for each of these data sets. So again, this is something that I did a little bit ahead of time. So this left the juniors, there are 29 students for the juniors. And then for the seniors, there are 28 students. And I'll just let you know, for the juniors, the median here would be 25. And then the median for the seniors was 32.5. And that's something I calculated previously. You can do that on your own too. The mean. So the mean for the juniors is going to be 26.6. And then the mean, sorry, I'm looking at my notes over here. The mean for the seniors is going to be 30.9. So part A, the value of the larger median is going to be 32.5, which was the seniors. And then the larger mean of both groups is also the seniors, which was 30.9. So using 1 to 2 sentences, describe the difference between the number of minutes the juniors and seniors studied by comparing the shapes and centers. So you'll notice that the juniors had more normal distribution. Juniors were normal distribution. Seniors were skewed. We go back up. Which way is it skewed? Skewed left. And if we use the average or the mean, we can notice that the juniors studied 26.6 minutes in one day. And then the seniors, we would want to use the median because it's skewed. So their average or measure of center would be 32.5 in one day. All right. Again, let me know if y'all have questions or comments. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. I hope you had a good week. Bye.